My name is Pushkar Maitra. I'm a professor of economics at Monash University. I wish to start by acknowledging the people of the Kulin Nations on whose land I work today. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. The focus of my research is to investigate issues relating to violence against women, both at home and outside, from an economics angle. Can we identify drivers of violence against women? Can we design policies that can potentially reduce violence against women? Can we change norms in this context? The focus is on the Asia-Pacific and is consistent with CEVAW's vision, i.e. a data-driven approach. We can share some findings from our work on the gendered effects of climate change. Natural disasters are increasing in frequency and intensity. Our focus is on the impact of officially declared natural disasters and gender-based violence in Australia. This work speaks directly to CEVAW's research on the causes and consequences of violence against women. From an economics perspective, disasters provide plausibly exogenous shocks, which better allows us to understand and identify causal pathways such as economic stress, breakdowns in social support and institutional strain that may increase the risk of violence. At the same time, they help us understand the consequences of violence in crisis contexts, particularly impacts on women's mental health and well-being. What do we find? We find that disasters lead to short-run increases in domestic violence-related and sexual assault reports. Disasters also result in heightened partner conflict within the household and deteriorations in women's mental health. These findings highlight that climate-related shocks can exacerbate household stress and conflict and has important implications for the provision of services and response to disasters. We also look at other dimensions of climate change, for example, temperature extremes. The results are somewhat surprising. We find that increases in extreme cold are associated with higher rates of domestic violence, whereas extreme heat shows a negative association. We're still in the process of understanding what is going on here. One possibility is that these reflect differences in time use, mobility, or maybe even reporting behavior under different temperature conditions. The research has evolved quite significantly, particularly on the primary data and intervention side. As we've started developing our field experiment in Indonesia, we've learned a great deal from ongoing engagement with communities, local communities, and stakeholders. These insights have been particularly crucial in shaping the design. We're actively refining and adapting our survey instruments and intervention components to ensure they're contextually appropriate and relevant. This is very much an iterative process where local knowledge plays a central role in guiding the research design. At the same time, our work using secondary data has progressed more quickly, and we've already been able to generate and share some initial findings, particularly on climate-related shocks and gender-based violence. So overall, it's been a combination of steady progress in observational analysis alongside a more iterative and learning-driven approach to designing field-based research. Importantly, the process is helping us to build research that is both credible and actionable, designed not just to generate evidence, but also to make a meaningful difference. CEVAW adopts the 3 I's approach: Indo-Pacific, Indigenous, and interdisciplinary. This is central to how we design and implement our research. In terms of the Indo-Pacific focus, our work spans Australia, Fiji, and Indonesia, where we engage with diverse social, cultural, and institutional contexts. But importantly, this is not just about where we work, it's about how we work. On the Indigenous dimension, in our work in Indonesia and Fiji, this translates into engaging closely with local and often marginalized communities and recognizing the importance of context-specific knowledge. In practice, this means adopting a participatory approach, working with local partners to ensure that our research design, survey instruments, and interventions are sensitive to local norms, social structures, and lived experiences. It also involves adapting our approach based on feedback from these communities so that the research is both ethically grounded and locally relevant. Finally, the work is inherently interdisciplinary. As an economist, I bring a causal and policy-focused perspective. But we are working closely with researchers from other disciplines across public health, sociology, and law which allows us to better understand the complex drivers of violence against women, and design more effective interventions. More broadly, initiatives like the masterclass at the Australian Gender Economics Workshop that CEVAW organized have been really valuable in bringing researchers together and fostering these connections. Overall, the collaborative environment at CEVAW not only broadens perspectives, but also strengthens the quality and relevance of our research. What research am I most excited about moving forward? To be honest, I'm really excited about all my research. Asking me to choose what research I'm most excited about moving forward is like asking which of my two kids I love more. Looking ahead, my priorities are to implement our projects carefully, deepen understanding of the drivers of violence against women, and continue using a participatory approach with our local partners. I'm also excited to test and refine interventions in different contexts and combine quantitative and qualitative methods to capture the social norms and consequences behind the data. Ultimately, the aim is to ensure our research not only advances knowledge, but also informs policies and programs that make a real difference. In an ideal world, I would like our research to contribute to policies and programs that meaningfully reduce violence against women both in Australia and across the Indo-Pacific. Even in a high-income country like Australia, around 1 in 4 women experience violence at home or elsewhere, and the numbers are likely to be higher in less well-off contexts. While we might not be able to eliminate violence entirely, we can provide evidence that helps governments, organizations, and communities to take more effective, targeted action. I hope to see a change not only in policies, but also in institutional practices and social norms, so that the problem of violence against women is addressed systematically, sustainably, and sensitively. Success in this space would look like interventions and programs that are grounded in local realities, informed by robust data, and designed in partnerships with communities that result in measurable reductions in violence and improvements in women's safety and well-being. My advice to policymakers and practitioners is use data actively to inform decisions, make high-quality data accessible to researchers, and work closely with research partners to co-design interventions. Equally important is being open to learning from local knowledge and cross-disciplinary insights so that policies are not only effective, but contextually appropriate and socially accepted.